Hello. Today is October 23rd, 2025. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we are back with a passion. Small Business Coffee Hour is making its grand return. It's been a long time, but I miss it. I miss doing these Small Business Coffee Hours. So I'm really happy to be bringing them back. You are here for Get Better Results with AI for Business with our special guest, Donovan Rittenbach. He is the author of this groovy book, Prompt Virtuoso. It's secret techniques to amplify your intelligence and not get hacked by AI. He was a guest on the Sci-Fi Book Pod, which if you haven't tuned into that, it is a podcast where my husband and I meet with folks and talk about interesting books. And Donovan's book was about intelligent spiders, and it was really fascinating. So I'll put a link to that in the chat if you are into sci-fi. So Donovan is a serial entrepreneur. He's a copywriter. He's an author, a speaker, and an AI marketing specialist, which is why you are here today to hear from him. He's the founder of My AI Web Guy. He's dedicated to helping small businesses grow, and he's the author of the new book, Prompt Virtuoso, which we've already talked about. And here is why you are here today. When Donovan takes over for about 40 minutes of training and then 20 minutes of Q&A, he's going to talk about how to use AI to write sales copy, how to use AI to generate more revenue, and how to choose the best AI platform for you. And then we'll follow up with Q&A.
Are you using, can you let me know in the chat or whatever if you're using Claude or if you're using ChatGPT?
Or something else.
Or something else. What's your preferred writing tool or co-thinking tool? All right.
I have a new favorite after meeting Donovan. Donovan introduced me to my new favorite tool. So I just put that in the chat in case you're curious.
Claude, supposedly Claude. I say Claude because I'm American.
Is it pronounced Claude?
Yeah, it's technically Claude.
Oh.
But too much.
This is completely off topic, but I just found out that ChatGPT is going to allow the creation of XXX content.
And this comes back to what we were talking about, how these chatbots hack our brains and you set up these relationships with them. And like I warn about this in my book, like it is not your friend. It is a illusion. And because it'll create this XXX content, you now have like a sex bot that'll it'll become your fantasy partner. And then next thing you know, you're going to be on the $200 a month package and it's a bad idea. So go with Claude, the ethical AI. That's my opinion.
All right. I'm going to let you take over, Donovan.
Really?
Yes. So
wow.
Putting you in the spotlight and take it away.
What I'd like to hear is people's challenges. Like, why are you here? What are you trying to sell in? Is it email? Is it on a website? Is it on LinkedIn? I did 1,000 days straight of posting content to LinkedIn. It's a place to sell. Is there anything that your audience is really thinking about? Because I can just go into, hey, here's how to sell. But, one of the most important things is understanding your audience and who you're selling to, right? Like, you got to write for them.
I'm seriously considering learning to do income tax. So if I could use that would be an application if I have my own business.
Yeah, that would be a totally different application of it. And yeah. Are you using it to sell anything or?
I'm still learning.
All right.
You would still need to sell your services if you do some people's income tax for them.
Yes. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just go with that. I want to sell my services doing income tax, right? Okay.
Right.
So here's a couple things you should know about me and my background. I got 27 years of marketing experience, a lot of experience with sales as well, especially as a copywriter. So a copywriter is a person who doesn't just write pretty words, they're writing to sell something. It's called salesmanship in print, okay? And that is really hard to do because you have to understand your audience at a level that few people do. Should I elaborate on that? Is that what your audience?
Yes, that's something that the folks here that are in my Robusta group, we talk about that a lot. Okay. So it is one of the most important things that we talk about. So yes, if we can use AI to help us figure that out, we would love to know that.
Okay. So let's just go in here. I like working with like an actual sample, right? With a real life problem. Here's why I love Claude. First of all, for those of you who don't know, we're sitting inside of Claude. And Claude is the business professional's choice. ChatGPT is more consumer. ChatGPT is getting all the press. It's pretty well known, but Claude, it's the ethical AI. It's not going to, it has guardrails that'll help you keep you from getting addicted and some other things, but it also gives you really amazing research. So let's go with this. So the first thing you have to do is you have to understand who you're selling to. And if you don't understand who you're selling to at a really deep level, you're going to be in trouble. So where I begin as a copywriter is by doing market research. I want to understand how my audience, the exact language that they use when they're thinking about the problem that they have that they need a solution to. Now, in the instance of I need somebody to do my taxes, that's a bit of a challenge because that's a very commodity kind of based product. We're just going to but it also simplifies things. So let's just take a second and we're going to do some market research because you should always know your market. You should understand their pains. You should understand what keeps them awake at night. What are they thinking about when they wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning? Like that you can help them with. All right. So let's do some research. I want to do deep research on customer psychology, and this is coming back to empathy, something that Candace and I like to discuss, right? Is thinking like your audience thinks, not how you think they should think, but thinking in their words, in their language, approaching the world from their angle. Okay, so I want to do deep research on customer psychology for people who are looking to get their taxes done. Let's get their top pain points. Like what keeps them up at night? Why do they need me to do their taxes? This is going to be for individuals. So again, as I said, understanding your market, and a market is a person. Just think of a market as that one person who's bought something from you. Just keep them in mind, right? And you're going to try to put yourself into their headspace. Like they're sitting across from you on a desk. You're trying to have a conversation with them and really understand how you can serve them, right? So the reason why I did my research in Claude is, and I didn't do deep research on this, but I could have. If you do deep research on ChatGPT, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's like you can ask a question and it'll go out and it'll look at 30 different websites and it'll do all the research and compile a really amazing report for you. But Claude will go out to 300 or 400 websites and it will compile it all into an amazing research document that will just, you'll definitely want to copy and paste it into your desktop because it will be valuable and you can use it to refer to later. So let's just go here. It's looking at small business owners, self-employed taxes, stress, complexity, confusion. So what it's doing is it's gone out to a search engine and it's looked at all these websites for you. So you don't even have to go do this. It literally went to 10 different websites. It checked them out. It got the IRS.gov in there, got some accountant stuff, and then it also went to Medium, Intuit. It's doing all this research for you. And this is the lightweight version, right? If I'd have done deep research, it would have had a lot more results. It also shows you, okay, here we go. So it shows you the steps that it went through as it did the research, why people hire a tax preparer, why all of this, right? It would have taken you a couple of weeks to do. It's crazy. So here we go. Based on the comprehensive research, here are the top pain points and psychological drivers. We got 38% of millennials report tax stress has brought them to tears. Ooh, that's interesting, right? Because you want things that brought you to tears. And then that's something you can call out in your ad copy. Are tired of crying at tax time? or whatever. I'm your I'll make this easy for you. And let's see, tax anxiety. Wow, phorosophobia. There's an actual new word of the day. Let's see if we can use that. Tax season triggers sleepless nights, panic attacks. I'm just scanning here. So complexity and overwhelm. I'm scanning. I'm not reading. Okay. And the reason why is one, we're limited on time, and two, we're going to trust that Claude, what's saying here looks pretty good. It's got references to any of these links in case I want to double check them, but I got this, right? Fear of making mistakes, audit terror. People are terrified of being audited, owing money they can't afford. Uh, is an issue. So we're looking for a good pain point here. If anybody sees anything that jumps out at you, chip in. We're just kind of scanning again, self-employed small businesses, 37% of small businesses.
I think of anxiety over preparing, getting the information and making
Okay.
make sure it's right.
Okay, so anxiety over preparing because it's complex and you're afraid you'll make a mistake and you won't get your money back
Right.
right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is it now has what's called a context window. So it has we've just made it kind of an expert on this problem by doing this research. So it now has this in its memory. All right. What we're going to do is, right here they are, terrified of making costly mistakes, overwhelmed by complexity, paralyzed by fear of the IRS. All right. This is gold, right? Now, are we writing an email? Are we writing a LinkedIn post? Are we writing a sales page? I want to do like a
sales pitch. Oh, something on a postcard. Something as pitch you can put on a postcard.
pitch you could put on a postcard? Okay, let's so top 50 words, right? I mean, it'd be really small.
I think
How
it's
many?
too many words. 50 is too many, I think.
So how many? 10, 20?
15 to 20.
All right. So I need something. By the way, it's really hard to write short.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But that's going to be one of our tests with Claude. Okay. Because Claude will help you do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, I need something, because what you're talking about is it's a headline. A headline is designed to grab you and speak to your pain point. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, you are a professional copywriter. And so we're giving it a context. We're assigning it a role. So we're telling it who we want it to be. You're a professional copywriter who writes really good headlines. What are the qualities of a headline I can't resist that are related to, I'm just going to copy into this. Okay. So,
and can it be just 2 sentences?
Yeah, we'll work on that. So here's what we're going to do. What I'm trying to do is I'm setting up again, kind of doing like a miniature training exercise with it so that I make sure that it knows, what are the core qualities of an irresistible headline, directly name their fear, promise relief from the pain. So don't dance around it, call out the IRS, audits, penalties, mistakes. Those are good. Okay. Example direction, stop losing sleep over IRS mistakes. Okay. That is a possibility. Promise relief from pain, use time sensitive urgency. So what you're talking about doing is a very seasonal job requirement, right? It's going to pretty much start hitting February. People are going to start looking for their tax person. So that timing is important. We're going to kind of skip over that a little bit, but speak to their secret shame, be conversational, not corporate, lead with the worst case scenarios they're imagining. By the way, I'm going to take this and I'll drop this in for you guys later to look at. It'll be in the chat so you can review it. Include social proof or authority signals. You know what? we'll get to that in a second. We're just going to do the headline. So what I've done, okay, beautiful, make one clear promise, use pattern interrupts. It's giving you a miniature copywriting course right now that we're not going to have time to get into, but you can access by hitting that link. Okay. And all of this is like, it looks good to me. Right. And I've been doing copywriting for a while, and it's got all sorts of important things that are going to be juicy for what we're going to do next. Cause we're going to do like an email next, say. Okay. But, cause every time you have the AI research, it's now becoming an expert. Here we go. Regret prevention, in-group belonging, authority, scarcity, specificity, what not to do, generic, like professional tax services, too clever. That's all good advice. So here's a formula that works, right? And, terrified of an IRS audit? Our former IRS agents, nope. So you might want to, you're thinking about building your business, right? You don't have an established roster of clients or anything like that.
Right. Right.
Okay. What if you're leaving 3,000 on the table? So I'm going to say I am a sole proprietor who is doing this to get new clients. I just need them to stop and call me. All right. I'm putting this on a postcard. So we're giving it context. We're telling it what we're doing. Putting this on a postcard.
Okay.
Give me 10 headlines that are no longer than 10 words. For you to come up with these, it'd be hard. It's hard to crank out a decent headline, right?
Right. Right.
Here, it did it for you. 10 of them, knocked it right out. Okay, so you go down through, and which one grabs you, like viscerally?
Number 2.
Number 2?
Right.
Anybody else?
Number 9.
Number 9? I
I
like
think
7.
number
Five.
9. Number 9 because of they are confusing, and that would be the ideal client for somebody like Rita who's just starting her business.
Okay, let's go. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, and by the way, the only way to know if your copy is going to work is by testing it. So we're going to go with our gut, which is say, I'm going to say 2, 7, and 9 are the ones that I like the most. I like 2, 7, and 9. Can you? Now here's where we get the power of AI, because this is a thinking technology. Think of this, I call it your third brain. All right. We have our computer is our second brain, AI is our third brain. And we're asking it to do the thinking for us. Can you say those in the customer's own language? We want their words, not ours, if at all possible. So, afraid you're missing deductions? Let's find out. Free rewritten options. Am I leaving money on the table? Help me check. What if I'm missing deductions? I think I'm missing something. Can you look? Nope. Okay. Stop dreading tax season. I'm so done stressing about taxes every year. So what this is doing is it's kind of giving you some ideas, right? It's brainstorming these ideas for you. Let's look at number 9. I have no ideas what I'm doing with taxes. This tax stuff makes zero sense to me. Am I the only one who finds this confusing? So my recommendation for a postcard, here it is. What if I'm missing deductions I don't know about? So this taps loss aversion. Loss aversion is a cognitive bias that is built into us where we don't want to lose something that we have that is of value. We're much more likely to do something to keep what we have than to do something to get what we want. Okay. I have no idea what I'm doing with taxes. Okay. No, there has to be an easier way, right? No. Okay. Be simple and direct. Call out taxes and tax preparation, because we want, right? Taxes and tax preparation. They're going to see something. Let's go with this number 9 again. Confused with your taxes, let's just go with this. Is that, in the interest of time, is that a good one? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I was unmuted.
All right. So let's go with now write me an email to send. So that's a bit long for a subject line. Tax preparation doesn't have to be confusing. So it's giving you some suggestions for your subject line, right? Tax preparation doesn't have to be confusing. Quick conversations about your taxes, still stressed about your taxes. So let's just take a look at this. I'm reaching out because tax season's here. I know how confusing it can be. Let's talk about this. Are you who are you? Are you targeting women? Are you targeting men? Do you have any kind of an idea of what kind of businesses you'd like to be serving, or no?
No, I was thinking just personal.
Okay, so your social network group, your friend group is it mostly women?
No, and they already do their taxes or don't pay any.
Okay, so we need a market.
Yeah.
Let's just go with, I'm going to go with small businesses. Is that okay?
Okay.
Because small businesses have a need and they'll pay you money, right?
Right.
Let's just go with that.
Okay.
And so let's do this for small businesses. If we had a niche that we were focused on, like writers or accountants, or what would be a store owners, like there's so many different things that you would get into. They're a little bit more complex, but I'm going to say, let's do this for small businesses. And small business taxes driving you crazy? Quick questions. So running a small business is hard enough without tax season making it worse. If you're self-employed, you're probably wondering, am I paying too much in taxes? All right. So here it is. It's given you a template that is a beginning. I'm going to say this, and here's the postcard headline for small business. Small business taxes confusing you. I'll make it simple.
All right.
Okay. Now let's go with this. Tighten that email up so it's super short and punchy. Because it's kind of a long email, running a small business is hard enough. I'm looking at this at the length here. Let's do this. Make it more conversational. I just don't want to bore people. People will pay attention to ads, which this is an ad. Let's be clear. You're doing advertising, but people will pay attention to what they're interested in. And sometimes it's an ad. Make it more conversational and friendly.
Okay.
Now, let me explain what's going on here, because it's kind of important to understand. What you're seeing appears to be intelligent. It appears to be like you're talking with a machine, right?
Yeah.
I want to make it clear that that's not what's happening. It's taking what I did here, and simply put, it goes into a database and it connects a bunch of dots together, and it's not actually thinking. It just looks like it's thinking. The reason why that matters is, well, look at what we just did. So you started your business to do what you love, not to lose sleep over taxes. But here you are wondering, am I missing deductions? Did I pay enough in quarterly taxes? What if I screw something up? I get it. Tax stuff is confusing and stressful. I'm Rita, and I help small business owners here in the city handle their taxes without the headache. Think of me as your tax person who actually explains things in plain English. Let's chat. No pressure, no sales pitch. So how does that look to you?
Too long?
Too long?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Make
think
it
sentences are too
super
long.
short and punchy.
I think the sentences are too long.
Okay, so it's taking a moment to think, quote unquote, think.
Think, quote unquote. Yeah.
Still too long?
Yep. Nope. Nope.
It's 52 words.
I like it.
Okay.
Like it. I like it.
So here, I'll just throw that in the chat so you make sure you got that.
So, Donovan, can I just interject here?
Yeah.
Rita, if she does this, she'd be starting a business from scratch, and she doesn't have any clients and she doesn't have a list.
Yeah.
So email is too far into the process, right? We need the first thing that her potential client's going to see. So it could be a flyer on the wall at Starbucks. It could be a Facebook message that says, "Hey, I'm launching a new business for my friends in Galveston." Yeah, so we need to do step 1. This is like step 4. We need to do step 1.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. Let's do a flyer that we can put on the wall at Starbucks.
Small business tax is stressing you out. You're working on them right now, aren't you? Let's see. Here's that's interesting. Trying to think of, I want this to really grab, right? Does this grab you? Taxes stressing you out? Still haven't filed? Have you? Stopped
Well,
wondering?
my first reaction was some people wouldn't like to admit that they're stressed out.
Okay. Let's be more positive and
Because
aspirational.
still haven't filed. I mean, that's not a
And
stressing out. They might be stressed out, but
so let's be more positive and aspirational and don't insult them. Get
yeah,
your taxes done right and keep more of your money. How about that? That's kind of what
right.
everybody wants, right?
It's better. Yeah.
That's what you want above everything else is
Is it
I
you
want
want
to
it
keep
done
more of
right?
my money.
Yeah, you want it done right.
So right, there's an example of what you would end up with.
Yeah.
Okay, feed
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Where
I like it. I like it.
That's way better.
okay. So yeah, right? It's simple, it's to the point, get your taxes done right. And you see that what we did here is we just had kind of a conversation with it. We'd ask it to give us an idea and then we'd give it feedback. Just really quick, I
Okay.
asked it to tell me to elaborate briefly on the RACE framework. So this is kind of a way to think about what are you going to try to do? You're going to try to relate, right? Taxes confusing you or whatever. Don't want to lose your money to the government. Everybody loves a good enemy. Agitate, amplify the problem. So missing deductions could cost you thousands. All right. Challenge. And that might even be, that's probably too much. But, anyways, the challenge that they're having, and you're going to make it easy. You're going to remove the friction. Now, yeah, let's leave it at that because since we're short on time, but hopefully that helps,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, right. Okay.
And what's beautiful about working with AI is think of this as it's Google with a whole different interface. You have access to the sum of all of human knowledge that's been, that these things have looked at. And what that means is you can ask it anything. So ask it really good questions and you'll get really good answers.
Right.
Anything. You have a subject matter expert here, a strategic business consultant, a sales coach, a copywriter, a content creator, anything you want it to be, it can become that. All right.
Right. Right.
There was a question about using AI to sell on LinkedIn
Okay.
with specifically, I think it was photography, selling photography services on LinkedIn.
Real quick.
Yep.
If you just go to the link, this donovanrittenbach.com/virtuoso, this book it's going to enlighten you about AI. And then you could also get, copywriting tips and some other things. So just check it out if you want to go to the next step. So let's go.
All right, now
There you
let's go to
go.
selling photography services on LinkedIn. Headshot photography is the most specific.
So I love that you're being specific, right? I am going to switch gears now and I want to sell headshot photography on LinkedIn. Okay. I call it your Gen AI genie. So Gen AI is this new kind of AI that can write this stuff for you. We've been using AI for a long time. It's just this is the kind that seems like it's talking to you. And you can make any wish you want. So here we go.
Can I just say for number one, it needs to be real estate agents because real estate agents are the worst at headshots.
And they the hardest one to get to understand that they need them the most.
Well, then let's do this.
It's important they understand that they need this the most because their headshots are horrific. Okay. It loves context. Do we got a unique approach? Is there anything unique about your approach? We
We
bring
bring the studio to them.
the studio to them. Okay, cool.
Fast
We
turnaround,
fast turnaround, like how fast?
5 to 7 days.
5 to 7 days. And anything else?
Special cropping for all social media platforms.
All social media platforms. Cool. Love that.
Cool.
Anything else?
Yeah, if you
Professional.
also take the time to make them feel comfortable in your studio before you start shooting.
Yeah, I was gonna say coaching.
Thank you.
I'm an expression coach.
And then we're going to say, so are you doing a LinkedIn post on this?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to say, by the way, the LinkedIn post is just the first step in the whole thing, right?
Okay.
When you're doing a LinkedIn post, you got to stop the scroll, but we're going to just go with this for brevity. Let's see what we can come up with. I'm an expression coach who makes you look good with good expressions in the photos, right? I think that's what you were talking about.
Yes.
So remember how I gave it the context of you're a copywriter? That's important to get it to think, quote unquote, think like a copywriter. So what it's doing here is right? People don't realize how much it's costing them. That's kind of the gold right there, right? Your headshot is costing you listings. Ooh. Which one appeals to you though?
I like that one. I like one.
Okay, let's go with one. It's short, it's concise,
Yeah.
it's to the point, right? Let's go with headline number 1. And you notice how it's referring back to the RACE framework: relate, agitate,
Yeah.
challenge, ease. Here's how it works for you. So it goes through and it does kind of a little bit of pre-thinking. And here's what it comes up with for a short, punchy version: real estate agents. So you call out your audience. So when they're scrolling, they would immediately see real estate agents. Well, gosh, I'm a real estate agent. Boink. Must be for me. Your headshot is either getting you listings or losing them. When sellers scroll through agent profiles, they decide in 3 seconds who looks trustworthy, professional, and current. I kind of I like this. By the way,
I like
uh,
that.
I mean, it's right. That's they're on the platform. They're scrolling through. They're like, huh, okay. Look like the pro you are. Remember how I told it to be aspirational, right? Look like
Mhm.
the pro you are. There's a direct message template, so it's giving you the DM, right? Honestly, let's go with headline number 1. And that DM is way too long. Let's do a warm up and a follow up. Just get a conversation started. So that's all you want to do. Just start talking. So there it is. I help real estate agents with professional headshots. Notice you're crushing it. Would love to connect. I don't like this. It sounds too bro-y. That sounds too bro-y. So that word right there is a word I just made up. But the way AI works, it does a pretty good job of figuring this stuff out, right? Make me stand out more. So checked out your profile, wait.
Uh-oh, you're clearly not.
Oh, that's awful. That's terrible. That's too broy.
Okay, let's see. Don't be rude
Yeah.
and insult customers. We're just going to go with that for a second. I specialize for headshots and real estate agents. I can just see
Saw your profile.
that's
You're
pretty
great.
actually straight and to the point.
Yeah.
Right?
Your photo could work even harder for you.
I would probably not. Yeah, I don't like that one either.
Yeah.
Let's see. Can we use something out of here? Here's what I learned. Your headshot is doing more work than you think. Focus on, tell me something. Have you taken a headshot of somebody and it changed their life? Like they started getting more.
Yeah, they started getting more, start getting more work, notice more, even on their job. So
People start getting noticed more with a better headshot.
yeah.
They're going to catch people's eye because they look great. Okay? By the way, I'm making this look easy. I want to stress I've been doing this for using AI for 3 years on a daily basis. Plus my copywriter background equals,
Well, I like that one. I like that one, that first one.
this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then thanks for connecting. Here's what happens when agents upgrade their headshots to get noticed more. Sellers scrolling through profiles stop the
Yeah.
want to see the difference it makes. Great. It ends with a question. It's
Yeah.
inviting, right? whoa, it's giving you the sequence. Yes, thank you. You're welcome. Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
You're getting like, chunk of
Uh-huh.
a chunk of really good stuff here that is gonna save you a couple $100 at the very least, and is gonna make you a lot more, right?
Yeah.
It even got the if they go quiet.
So I want to give some time for Q&A. This was really good. I would caution against using that copy and paste because it doesn't sound like Deb said it. But
Yes.
Deb, you can add your own
Mhm.
voice. We've got people in the room. I know you have questions. So if you don't want to unmute and ask, you can go ahead and type it and I'll ask. But go ahead and unmute if you have a question or type it in the chat. Because take advantage of this opportunity to talk to somebody who really knows AI
And copywriting.
and
Like,
copywriting. The
'cause-
copywriting is the important thing.
Yes, right? It's the skill set that the AI is gonna kind of boost you up on, right? That skill set, you don't know what questions to ask. So
Donovan, you highly, because I started using Claude a little while back as well, and I'm noticing that I get more conversation out of Claude than I do in ChatGPT. So is that just mainly the difference, or?
So really quick, what's the difference
Mhm.
in like the conversations or in the what?
Yeah, I feel like I get more of a deeper context or
Yeah.
conversation out of Claude
So
than I do.
yes, in my opinion, ChatGPT has one goal: to keep you on platform, to keep you talking. You'll notice whenever you go into chat, one of the things that it is always doing, by the way, there's the erotica creation limits. It always puts in
Yeah.
the horizontal lines, and I can't get it to stop doing that. And it always ends like with a question that is designed literally to
Keep you
um,
going.
keep you talking. I
Mhm.
don't want that. I want to stay on focus. I don't want to have to format stuff. I
Okay.
want to be able to copy and paste it. Because what I'm doing all the time, when I find good stuff that I like, I come in here and I go copy, and then I
Mhm.
stick it in a Word doc. Now, the reason why that's important is you can use that to reference it later and set it up for your conversation, right?
Mhm.
Like, okay, here's 100 rules for copy that converts. I did a bunch of work. I got this really amazing output on, right? Find
Mhm.
your starving crowds. Let's just bust this open for a second. Find your starving crowd, right? Rule of 3, the rule of 1. I have basically set up 100 rules that a top copywriter would want to use, right?
Mhm.
Write to one person, know what they're running from, not just running to. All of that, because I have that as a Word document. Now I can just upload that. And when I start a new chat, I can go to my desktop and I can go here. We're going to make it an instant expert copywriter. And now I can go to town on whatever we want to write.
Mhm.
Because so think of it like every document you save is a little like knowledge training expert, instant expert in a box kind of thing.
Mhm.
Now, let me just quick say another reason why I'm loving Claude, excuse me. They got a skills thing coming out with where you can have instant skill sets that are amazing, projects. I'm going to skip the weeds. Let's just say I love it. You want to know more about it?
Okay.
Hit me up on LinkedIn. By the way, there's my LinkedIn.
I'm really glad you're here on this projects page because I love the projects page.
So basically you train it to be an expert in the one thing you're working on, right?
With the free
So,
version, you get one project. So use it
okay.
wisely.
Yeah, and I'm
One
just going to
project
say
per day or one project totally?
Totally. A project,
Okay.
Donovan, please explain what a project is.
So over here on the side, we have a project. This is kind of the set of instructions that I'm giving it some context of who I want it to be, and what I want it to do. Then I upload. This is a bunch of documents that I've saved from previous chats that are going to make it an instant expert on this test that I'm working on. Okay. And then these are all the conversations related to that. And it's all organized in one place. So you don't have to go searching through all your past whatever stuff. And just an instant expert. You don't have to give it any more context. You just jump right into the chat. Does that explain satisfactorily? Yeah.
And you can
In
keep
my head, I was thinking project in terms of different things I'm working on and whether I could have one project per each of those things. But I would have to do the paid version, I think, and that's okay. I'm just figuring
It's
it out.
best $20 you're gonna spend. Yeah.
Yeah.
I use my
Yeah,
one
to-
I use my one project for my podcast. So I have specific documents that I've uploaded to the project so that it knows how to give me the information I want from it.
Which makes perfect sense.
Right? So stores persistent knowledge, maintains context across the chats, and creates a working environment. So you can it's a permanent collaborative space, right? So you'll notice I use this tool conversationally. I talk to it as I would to a person or a fellow professional because I consider it to be a collaborator. It is not a glorified Google that is just doing my tasks for me. It is a co-thinking partner. I'm going to make all the hard calls, all the important calls. It is going to do the heavy lifting. And then I'll determine what I like from that or not, right? But anyways, what else? Do you guys want to see something really
Yes.
Do you still use ChatGPT just for certain things?
I use it for the image. It's a multimodal AI, so it's image recognition. I took a picture of this Japanese robe that I've had for years. I wanted to know what the words on it said because they're all written in Japanese. Can extract that from the image. It has phenomenal image capabilities. It has some things that, market penetration, a lot of people use it. It's as an AI coach, because I teach people how to use AI, I kind of need to know about it.
Yeah.
But I really find myself spending most of my time these days in Claude.
Okay.
Because I'm so sick of those horizontal rules. I cannot get rid of them. I can't copy and paste stuff into Word docs and save it for later. It's Claude. Claude is also an amazing programmer. The stuff I'm doing with programming is crazy. It's professional. And I like that.
Claude has given me the exact code that I need to create web pages,
Yeah.
and they look fantastic.
You want to write an SEO friendly blog article. You want to right. This is your new favorite little assistant. Okay. I want to leave you with something that I think is really important. The question is more important than the answer. All right. This is so critical when you're using AI because the quality of your question is going to give you an amazing answer. And here's where I'm going to do something I talk about in my book that nobody else that I know of is talking about. I use it to co-think. And what that means is, let's do this. Think laterally about. So this is a simple example. There's about 20 different ways of thinking. We're going to do think laterally. Just what that means is thinking sideways. Let's go. So this is how you can turn yourself into an instant thought leader. You're trying to come up with an idea. You can't really, you want to get a fresh angle on it. Thinking laterally, it's sideways thinking. So what it takes is, here, let's look at this. The phrase suggests a powerful reframe of how we approach problems and knowledge. The traditional view treats questions as a means to an ends, but this treats it as the answers are the real prize. The lateral interpretation flips this. The quality of your question determines what becomes visible or thinkable. A breakthrough question opens new territory. A mediocre answer to a brilliant question still advances understanding more than a perfect answer. By the way, I'm also going to say another reason why ChatGPT is great. It's got a good voice dictation capability. Like if you want to talk to your AI, it's pretty solid. Okay, anyways, practical implications. So let's go with, what does this make you guys think of? Just top of mind. Anything jump out at you?
Well, in marketing, why should they care? Really, why should they care is the most important thing. Because if you can't make them care about your company, then they're not going to want to do business with you.
Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to try something. Did I talk to you about Move 37? Sorry,
I
real
don't
quick,
know.
wrapping up. Okay.
I'm not sure.
Move 37 is when AI thought of a 1 in 10,000 move that revolutionized a game of Go. Go is more complicated than chess.
Oh yeah, we didn't
So-
talk about this at all.
Okay, it's a really profound moment because AI did something that no human had trained it to do. Humans would not think of doing. So here's what I'm going to try to do. Again, it's a good question that matters, right? Give me a move 37 on, let's just see what it says. Maybe we'll get lucky. We'll get the jackpot. So this is give me something way that I'm not thinking of that's going to be really like, nobody's thinking of that. Reverse the question entirely. Stop asking. And by the way, I made this question up. So this is one of my power moves. Stop asking, why should they care about me? Ask instead, what do they already care about that I'm interrupting? This inversion reveals you're not starting from zero. You're entering an existing flow of attention. That's always critical when you're doing copywriting. You got to enter the conversation that's already in their head. Your relevance isn't about your merits. It's about the gap or friction in what they're already doing. So what makes their current path inadequate enough that a detour through me is worth it? The shift, you go from justifying your existence to identifying unsolved tension. Let's see, let's go to example applications. Not why hire me, but what's breaking in your team that you keep having to patch? Not why read this, but what questions keep resurfacing that you haven't resolved? Relationship, not why value me, but what are you trying to do alone that's harder than it needs to be? Anything else you want to say to blow my mind? The meta move, you're asking the wrong entity. Right now, you're asking me to blow your mind, but the mind-blowing insights don't come from external voices. They come from collisions between incompatible things you already believe. You likely already hold contradictory assumptions that if placed side by side would detonate your current framework. The breakthrough isn't acquiring new information, it's in noticing what you've been refusing to let touch. Try this. Should I read it? Pick two beliefs you hold strongly that seem unrelated. Force them into same room. Where do they conflict? That friction point is where your next evolution lives. So example, I should be authentic, plus I need to be strategic. So right? Time is my most valuable resource, plus I waste hours on X. The insight isn't in resolving the tension, it's in seeing that you've been operating as if both were true while keeping them carefully separated. Your mind is already primed to blow itself. You just need to stop letting incompatible truths ignore each other. The real move 37, stop collecting insights, start confronting your own contradictions.
Who knew we were going to have a psychology appointment today?
Business psychology appointment.
Wow.
That's my secret kung fu move, by the way.
We've all just learned a secret kung fu move.
If you want to know more about AI, you know where to find me. Here's a quote I just shared in my last meeting. The future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. There's stuff that we're doing here today you're not going to see for 3 to 5 years. You're at the forefront of the future for just a moment, right? And I can give you more of that experience and show you how AI can do that. My book will as well. It's a great place to start. And there.
Thank you. So absolutely follow Donovan on LinkedIn. He shares really good content on LinkedIn. If you enjoy science fiction, you want to hear a science fiction conversation, that's at sci-fi-bookpod.com. It was episode 9. The book is called Children of Time. It was a really good read. And if you are not currently a member of Robusta and you'd like to take advantage of a discount on a monthly membership, go ahead and inbox me privately and we can talk about that. Robusta is every other Monday at noon Eastern.
What a great-
Donovan, Thank you. Is there anything else that you want to share with us?
You need help copywriting or know somebody who does? Think of me. Think
Who's
of
your ideal client for copywriting?
somebody who understands what copywriting actually is, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. They think it's writing pretty words, and it's really writing to sell. So
Yeah.
if they're a coach, coaches are great. People that have products that they want to sell, also ideal. But I just like talking about sales and marketing as well. And I've really quick, as a web guy, I've 27 years in the industry. I can give you some pointers about web copy as well. All right, let's leave it at that.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Donovan. Thank you, everybody, for being here. So that is it for today. There will be more.
Thank you.
I
Donovan.
probably need to do a training on Notebook LM, which is my personal favorite AI tool. I don't know if Donovan has thoughts on Notebook LM, but it's
Great. Yeah, the podcast capabilities, everything, it's amazing.
a research tool. It's not a writing tool, though. Yeah. So
And don't feel like you have to learn them all. Just choose one and focus on learning it, right?
yeah,
I just
absolutely.
purchased your book, Donovan, so I'm excited.
Thank you. Bye,
Good luck.
everybody. Smooches. Thank you, Donovan.
Ciao.